Have you ever felt like the universe was preparing you for something, as if everything around you started to shift subtly, without explanation? That strange feeling in your chest, it doesn't hurt, but it bothers you, like something invisible is pulling you toward a direction you can't quite see yet. And deep down, a silent voice whispers, something big is about to happen. It's not just intuition. It's not just empty hope. It's a frequency starting to vibrate inside you before anything even happens in the physical world, as if your body already knows what your mind is still trying to understand. Think of an old radio, the kind your grandfather might have had in his living room, where you slowly turn the dial, trying to find a station. At first, all you hear is noise, static, confusing sounds that don't make sense. But as you keep adjusting the frequency, something starts to form, first a distant melody, then a clearer voice, until finally the music plays perfectly. That's exactly how it works before the reunion with your twin flame. The universe begins to tune your inner frequency, sending you signals that seem random at first but are actually part of a much greater preparation, a fine-tuning between two souls who are about to recognize each other again. And what if I told you those signs aren't coincidences? That every strange sensation, every unexplainable dream, every sudden change in your life is part of a carefully orchestrated message from the universe. Before two twin flames reunite in the physical realm, there's a whole energetic dance happening behind the scenes of reality. There are 7 specific warnings the universe always sends, like secret notes left at your doorstep, waiting for you to find them and finally understand that destiny is guiding you toward that spiritual connection your soul never forgot, even if your mind doesn't remember. Here's a truth few people understand: the universe doesn't bring together two unprepared souls, it awakens them first. Before twin flames reunite, there's a silent process of vibrational alignment, as if the cosmos were adjusting every detail so the meeting happens at the exact right time, not a second too soon, not a second too late. These subtle signs aren't random or silly coincidences we try to explain with logic. They're deep energetic adjustments, direct messages from the universe telling you that the twin flame union is approaching, that the person who carries the other half of your essence is being prepared too, maybe on the other side of town, or the other side of the world. I remember talking to a friend who, for 3 weeks straight, kept waking up at 3 in the morning with her heart racing, drenched in sweat, unable to fall back asleep. She saw doctors, ran tests, everything was normal. Until one ordinary Thursday afternoon, she bumped into someone while waiting in line for coffee and felt as if the entire world stopped for 2 seconds. It was him, the person who appeared faceless in her dreams, the energy she could feel but couldn't name. Only then did she realize, those sleepless nights weren't insomnia, they were the universe preparing her energetic body to handle the intensity of that connection. The signs from the universe had been there all along, she just didn't have the keys to decode them yet. So, if you've been feeling strange shifts lately, if you sense your life being rearranged without you even asking for it, pay attention. The universe is speaking to you through a language that doesn't use words, but sensations, synchronicities, and inner transformations. Before two souls reunite, an invisible preparation is always happening, as if the stage were being set behind the curtain before the grand performance begins. And you, watching this video right now, might already be living through these signs without realizing they have a name, a purpose, a reason for existing that goes far beyond what the mind can explain. And since you've made it this far and are feeling connected to this message, how about giving this video a like? Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next signs the universe has to show you. Sign 1, the awakening of the invisible presence. The first warning the universe sends is perhaps the most unsettling of all: you start to feel the other person's energy, even from afar, even before you know who they are. It's those chills that run down your spine for no apparent reason, dreams so vivid that you wake up confused, unsure if you actually lived what just happened or if it was all in your mind. Unexplainable emotions rise in your chest, a longing for someone you don't know, a strange certainty that someone is thinking about you at that very moment. It's like a soft melody playing in the background of your consciousness, one you can't yet identify the source of, but that's already stirring something deep within you, preparing the ground for the spiritual connection that's about to manifest. I once met a man who told me that for months he would feel a light touch on his shoulder whenever he was home alone, as if invisible fingers were gently reaching out to him. At first, he thought he was losing his mind, even considered the idea that his house might be haunted. But the feeling wasn't scary, it was comforting, almost familiar. When he finally reunited with his twin flame, she confessed that during that same period, she would often close her eyes before falling asleep and visualize someone beside her, touching her shoulder, without knowing why. Their souls had already been communicating before their bodies ever met, because the connection between twin flames doesn't follow the laws of time and space as we know them. This awakening of the invisible presence happens because the soul feels before the mind understands. Your energetic body starts picking up on the other person's frequency, even if they're miles away, even if you've never met in this lifetime. It's the universe saying, "Get ready, something within you is about to recognize something outside of you." And when that sign arrives, it's often accompanied by a sudden sense of peace in the middle of chaos, or a strange restlessness in the middle of calm. These are waves of energy moving through dimensions, signs that destiny has already aligned both of you on the same timeline. Now, it's just a matter of letting the universe take care of the rest. Sign 2, the accelerated synchronicities. The second sign arrives like a flood of coincidences that leave you frozen, wondering if chance truly exists or if everything is orchestrated by a higher intelligence. Repeating numbers start showing up everywhere, you glance at the clock, and it's 11:11, you get your change, and it's $22.22, the license plate on the car ahead has the same number you dreamed about the night before. Names repeat in uncanny ways, songs you haven't heard in years play 3 times in the same day, and symbols begin to appear as if someone were leaving clues along your path. These are cosmic breadcrumbs the universe scatters to guide you back to alignment, like you're on a spiritual treasure hunt, and every synchronicity is confirmation that you're moving in the right direction. A woman once told me a story that sounds like something out of a movie, but it really happened. She dreamed of a blue butterfly landing on her hand for 3 nights in a row, always the same image, always the same feeling of peace. On the 4th day, while having coffee at a cafe she'd never been to before, a stranger sat beside her wearing a necklace with a blue butterfly pendant. They started talking and discovered they had a mutual friend who, by coincidence, was organizing a small gathering that weekend. That's where she met the person who would later be recognized as her twin flame. Those signs from the universe weren't just pretty coincidences, they were precise coordinates leading her exactly where she needed to be. These accelerated synchronicities happen because the universe speaks in vibrational codes, not in words. When 2 twin flames are about to reunite, reality itself begins to reorganize around them, building invisible bridges that connect moments, places, and people. It's as if you've entered a game where everything has meaning, where nothing is random, and every detail carries a message. And the more attention you give to these signs, the more they start to appear, because the universe realizes you're finally awakening to the secret language it's always used to guide those who are on the path to their twin flame union. Sign 3, the emotional cleansing. The third sign is, without a doubt, the most intense and uncomfortable of all, the forced emotional cleansing. Suddenly, emotions you didn't even know existed within you start rising to the surface like powerful waves that can no longer be contained. You cry for no apparent reason, feel a deep, directionless longing, as if you were missing someone you've never met. An urgent need for isolation takes over you, not because you're sad, but because you need to process something your mind can't yet name. It's like a storm clearing the sky before dawn, sweeping away everything dense, heavy, and misaligned with the higher frequency you're about to step into when the spiritual connection manifests. I remember a period in my own life when, for 2 weeks straight, I would wake up with a heavy chest and spend the entire day on the verge of tears. Nothing bad had happened, my life was stable, but something deep within me was being stirred up in a powerful way. Years later, talking with my twin flame, we discovered that during that exact same time, she was grieving her father's passing, an event that completely broke her. I had been feeling her pain without even knowing it. Our energy fields were already connected long before we met in person. The universe was cleansing in me everything that wouldn't be able to handle the intensity of that connection, and at the same time, aligning me with her emotional frequency, preparing my heart to recognize hers. This cleansing isn't punishment, it's preparation. The universe knows that the twin flame union carries an energy so intense it can destabilize souls still burdened by unresolved emotional baggage. So it triggers these inner storms, forcing you to face your shadows, release old wounds, and let go of relationships that have already served their purpose. It's uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, but it's absolutely necessary. Because when twin flames finally meet, they need to be vibrating on the same emotional frequency, clear and open enough to handle the magnitude of what they're about to experience. And if you're going through this cleansing right now, know that you're not alone on this journey. In fact, if this message is resonating with you so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications, because the next signs will show you exactly what happens after this emotional storm, and trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next. Now, let's move on to the fourth sign, which reveals the transformation that follows the cleansing. Sign 4, the call to inner transformation. The fourth sign comes as an irresistible call inward, a voice within that no longer accepts the shallow life you've been living. Sudden shifts in interests begin to happen, that job that once seemed perfect no longer makes sense, friendships that lasted for years start to feel empty, conversations that used to entertain you now bore you. A deep desire for growth arises, for self-knowledge, for exploring areas of spirituality you didn't even know existed. It's the universe tuning your instrument before the concert, adjusting every string of your essence so that you're vibrating at the exact frequency needed to recognize your twin flame when they finally cross your path. I once met a man who had been an engineer for 15 years, a stable life, a good salary, but suddenly felt a void so immense he couldn't ignore it any longer. He began meditating, something he had always thought was silly. He started reading about life purpose, soul connections, and the destiny each person carries. Within 6 months, he quit his job, moved to a new city, and started working in holistic therapies, something he had never even imagined before. It was during this process of transformation that he reunited with the woman who would become his twin flame, a woman who was also undergoing a similar inner revolution. Only later did he understand, the universe was aligning not just external paths, but primarily internal frequencies, because the reunion only happens when both souls are in vibrational harmony. This call to inner transformation is not optional, it's mandatory. The universe knows you cannot meet your other half while vibrating at your old frequency, carrying limiting beliefs, living on autopilot. So it shakes your life, plants restlessness in your chest, awakens questions that keep you awake at night. And the more you resist, the stronger the call becomes, until you finally surrender and begin the journey back home, back to who you truly are. Because the twin flame union isn't just about finding someone, it's about becoming someone worthy of recognizing the magnitude of this spiritual connection when it finally knocks on your door. Sign 5, the forced detachment. The fifth sign is perhaps the most painful of all, but also the most liberating, forced detachment. Suddenly, relationships that once seemed solid begin to crumble without explanation, long-term friendships naturally drift apart, that job that gave you security simply ends, doors close one after another without you understanding why. It's as if the universe is removing everything from your life that doesn't vibrate at the new frequency you're about to inhabit, performing a deep cleansing to make space for what truly matters. It may feel cruel in the moment, like you're losing everything, but in reality, you're being prepared to receive something far greater, something your heart already knows is coming, even if your mind doesn't yet comprehend it. A woman once told me she was fired from a job she had held for 8 years, in the same week she ended a 5-year relationship. She panicked, thinking her life was falling apart, believing she must have done something wrong to deserve it. She spent 3 months confused, until a friend invited her to volunteer on a social project across town, something she would never have done if she were still tied to her old routine. It was through that project that she met the man who would become her twin flame, a man who had also recently experienced losses and was rebuilding himself. Only then did she realize, the universe wasn't taking anything away from her, it was simply removing the obstacles that were keeping her from reaching where she needed to be, creating strategic gaps so the new could finally enter. This forced detachment happens because destiny doesn't negotiate with attachments. When the universe decides to bring two twin flames together, it needs to ensure both are free, energetically available, with no invisible cords tying them to old frequencies. So it severs, sometimes abruptly, everything that no longer serves the greater purpose. And although it hurts in the moment, and may feel unfair, it's exactly that emptiness that allows the twin flame union to happen in its full potential. Because you cannot hold someone new's hand if your hands are still occupied holding onto the past, and the universe knows this better than anyone. Sign 6, Dreams and Spiritual Messages. The sixth sign arrives through the oldest language there is, dreams. You begin having dreams so vivid they feel more real than reality itself, where someone appears whose face you can't fully see, yet awakens an eerie sense of familiarity within you. Symbolic messages repeat night after night, and sudden feelings of telepathy arise, as if someone is whispering thoughts directly into your mind while you sleep. It's the soul rehearsing in the astral plane what is about to happen in the physical world, like an actor memorizing their lines before the premiere. The universe uses dreams because your rational mind cannot interfere there, it's where your soul can finally communicate freely with the other half that is coming. I heard the most remarkable story about this from a young woman. For months, she dreamed of standing on an old wooden bridge, looking at a river, with someone holding her hand, but she could never turn her head to see who it was. The dream was always the same bridge, the same river, the same deep sense of peace. 3 weeks after the dream stopped, she visited a historic town she had never been to before. While walking through the tourist streets, she saw that exact bridge from her dreams. Her heart raced, her legs trembled, and when she crossed it, there he was on the other side, looking at the same river. They looked at each other and knew, without words, that this moment had already been lived in another dimension. The spiritual connection had existed long before the physical handshake ever happened. These dreams and spiritual messages aren't fantasies of the mind, they are real communications between souls about to reunite. The universe speaks through images because verbal language is too limited to convey the magnitude of what's happening. So it shows bridges, rivers, doors opening, paths crossing, always filled with symbols your soul understands perfectly, even if your mind is still trying to decode them. And when you finally meet your twin flame in the physical world, there is that overwhelming moment of déjà vu, where you realize you've already experienced this before, that the face has appeared in places your conscious memory cannot reach, but your soul has never forgotten. Sign 7, The Peace Before the Sacred Storm. The seventh and final sign is the most subtle, yet also the most powerful of all, the peace before the sacred storm. After all the emotional turbulence, after the synchronicities, after the forced detachments, comes a moment of deep calm that defies all logical explanation. You wake up one day feeling a strange sense of fullness, an unwavering confidence that everything is exactly as it should be, even if nothing has changed externally. It's the silent breeze before the dawn, the universe whispering directly to your soul, you are ready now. There's no more anxiety, no more rush, just a quiet certainty that something big is about to happen, and you are finally prepared to receive it. I remember perfectly the day this happened to me. I woke up on an ordinary Tuesday, nothing special was happening, yet it felt as if an invisible weight had been lifted from my shoulders overnight. I looked in the mirror and thought, something has changed. I couldn't explain what, but I knew it had. I spent the entire day with that strange feeling of completeness, as if I had arrived at a destination I didn't even know I was searching for. For days later, the reunion happened, in that cafe I never went to, at that time I never usually visited. And when our eyes met, there was no surprise, only recognition. My soul already knew, that peace I had felt days before was the final sign, the confirmation that destiny was fulfilling what it had promised long ago. This peace before the sacred storm happens because the universe needs to be sure you are vibrating in the frequency of surrender, not anxious expectation. The twin flame union can only occur when both souls reach a state of full presence, when they stop desperately searching and start trusting the flow of life. It's in this moment of conscious surrender that the universe finally opens the doors, knowing you will no longer cling in a toxic way, nor confuse true connection with disguised neediness. And when this sign arrives, when you feel that inexplicable peace filling your chest, know that the universe's signs are no longer just warnings. They are confirmations that the reunion is no longer a distant possibility, but a certainty just a few steps from manifesting. After understanding these 7 warnings the universe sends before the twin flame reunion, one truth becomes crystal clear: the reunion doesn't happen when we want it to, but when both are spiritually ready. There's no point in forcing it, chasing it, or trying to rush a process orchestrated by forces far greater than our individual will. The universe sends these signs not to make you suffer while waiting, but to prepare you properly, to ensure that when the moment arrives, you're vibrating at the exact frequency that allows you to recognize, honor, and sustain the magnitude of that spiritual connection. Each warning is a necessary step on the ladder that leads to the encounter your soul arranged long before you were born in this life. Think about how nature works. A seed doesn't sprout in winter just because you want to see the flower sooner. It waits for spring, for the soil to reach the right temperature, for the sun to shine at the perfect intensity. And when it finally grows, it emerges strong, healthy, and rooted. The same happens with the twin flame union. The universe is preparing the soil of your life, regulating the temperature of your soul, ensuring that when the reunion occurs, you are not just two people meeting, but two essences recognizing one another on a level that transcends any rational explanation. Destiny has no rush, because it knows that what is true is never lost, it only waits for the perfect moment to reveal itself. And what if all the signs you've been experiencing are the universe telling you, relax, you're already on your way to the reunion? What if every synchronicity, every 3 a.m. awakening, every forced detachment, every inexplicable dream, is simply confirmation that the path is unfolding, even if you cannot yet see the destination? Twin flame love is a powerful reminder that nothing is lost, nothing is in vain, everything is simply realigning. The universe hasn't forgotten you, it's only ensuring that when you finally hold your other half's hand, you are both ready not just to meet, but to remain together. If this video touched something inside you, if any of these warnings resonated with what you're experiencing right now, write in the comments, "I trust divine timing." This isn't just a comment, it's a way to anchor this energy in your life, to tell the universe you are ready to receive the signs it continues sending. Every word you write carries intention, and that intention transforms into vibration, attracting exactly what you are preparing to experience. So go ahead, leave your energetic mark below, and connect with others who are on this same journey of reunion with their twin flame. Now, if you've gained clarity from these important warnings, you need to subscribe now and turn on notifications, because only my subscribers will see the next step toward complete alignment, which I'll be publishing tomorrow. This is not just another video, it's the continuation of this journey, the next step the universe has prepared especially for those ready to go deeper. And if you've made it this far, if you've watched until this moment, destiny has already shown you that you belong to this select group of souls who seek not superficial answers, but truths that transform. Don't let the next step of this spiritual connection slip through your hands due to inattention. The universe brought you here for a reason, and tomorrow it will show you something that will connect all the points that still seem loose in your story. So click that red button now, turn on the bell, and get ready, because what comes next will make you understand why all these warnings were preparing you for something far greater than you ever imagined.